Thank you very much, Ruth. For those of you who are keeping track of the time in your seats, we really are on time, and it's to the credit of our candidates that they haven't gone over time, and that's helpful because the next series of questions deals with economic matters, and I'll be the one asking those. And after that, we're going to have a brief break so people can run to the bathroom and so forth, and then we'll resume with more questions by Ruth on domestic issues, and then I've got some questions on Garrett County specific issues. But right now it's time for the economic issues, okay? So let's see. We haven't started with, let's see. Let's open with Frank Howard for this one. There was a time when about 40% of our energy came from coal, and now barely 32% of our energy is from coal. Arch Coal and several others have filed bankruptcy. What do you see as a solution to our coal industry's problems?
I have been to Western Maryland a number of times since filing for Congress, to run for Congress in July, and 2 months ago I met with one of the owner-operators of a coal mine here in Garrett County. He took me out and gave me a tour. He told me about his issues, what keeps him up at night, the concerns of some of his employees, and it was pretty bleak and he was kind of depressed. The coal industry actually provides the cheapest power to the greatest number of people out there right now. I believe that this administration's war on coal is not just a one-liner. It's not just something that was made up, if you listen to the mainstream media, by the right, by conservatives. It's a real war on coal because the left doesn't approve of it, despite all of the technology that has made it cleaner and cleaner. I think what we need to do as far as the federal government, and all of us up here on this stage are running for government, which is a federal office, is to remove the restrictions, and some of them are ridiculous restrictions that have been made up by the EPA and other agencies within the federal government that crush coal. Once the free market has developed technologies for alternate energy sources and they can stand on their own in the free market, not with government prop-ups, then we can move towards alternate energy sources. In the interim, oil, gas, and coal are the best way to go for the greatest number of people, including keeping energy affordable. That's my answer. I'm out of time.
Thank you very much, Frank. Ami Holder, what is your solution to repairing our infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, historical fixtures, and so forth?
This is a combination of a federal and a state issue. We have to work cooperatively across the levels of government to do this. Actually, I was meeting earlier this week with the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Transportation here in Maryland, talking about the numerous ways in which infrastructure repair and enhancement can be done. I discovered that there are myriad ways of grant applications. There are many programs. It's a very convoluted process, and it's going to take me a little while to make sure I have all of it straight. But I would suggest one of the things we do is we look at what California has done in the way of streamlining the grant application processes. There are ways in which today you have to keep an elaborate calendar of which grant application goes in on which day for which sort of project. California has consolidated that since the grant is federal money but state managed. California has solved that by requiring one single application for the different types of grants and one single due date for those grant applications, which makes the process of evaluating the priorities that are funded much simpler. You aren't evaluating just 5 at a time or 10 at a time. You're looking across your whole state. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Chang. Most good jobs require some college, especially in the field of technology. Since 74% of U.S. citizens do not have a college education, how would you solve this problem?
This question. You know, Actually, I support education. Education is important for our future, and for for Canada, of course. Because now this 21st century, a lot of high technology, they need high education. That's important. So my point is, can help the student, help the student family, and go to school. What I do is, my idea is, if I'm elected, I will increase tax credit for parents paying for their children college education cost. This is my proposal. So they can help them, and then they have chance to go to school.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Harold Painter.
No, could I answer a freaking question at the last hour? You haven't even given me a question in like an hour. So how about I take my question? Yeah, like Iran? Well, because Obama is a Shia Muslim. See, that's why he supports Iran. He hates America. He grew up a Shia Muslim, and his dad was a Shia Muslim, and they're anti-colonialists. This is why they hate America. They hate us, they want to degrade us, and they want to prop up our enemies. This is exactly why they support our enemies, and they don't support our allies. And with schooling, you just get the government out of the way. It's just like the same as the housing market. They propped up the housing market, or the housing market, and there was a bubble. It's the same thing they're doing for the schools. They're propping it up, and there's going to be a bubble, and it's going to collapse. Get the government out of the way, and let the free market take over, and school will be cheaper, and people will go to college that need to go to college, because not everybody needs to go to college. Thank you very much.
Okay, that saves us the trouble of asking a question in the economic section.
Thank you. That's a lot. Thank you.
Harold Painter. Our country is now 19 trillion in debt. How will you reduce the debt for our children and grandchildren?
Couple of things. First, you really have got to start balancing the budget. They talk about they're reducing, the deficit spending. Well, we're still adding to the debt. You're just adding to it maybe a little slow. We've got to balance the budget. Some of the sacred cows have got to be sacrificed to balance the budget. The welfare state, we've got to bring jobs back to America so we don't have so many people dependent on the welfare state. Instead of saying to the working poor that, well, we're going to give you free lunch for your kids, we're going to give you welfare. No, we're going to get better jobs back to America so people can take care of themselves and not rely on the government to do it. On the military side, I'm sorry. America is not the world's policeman, and we should not have to pay to be the world's policeman. Other countries have got to pick up and spend a bigger percentage of their GDP than they are spending on our joint defense. And I'm pointing particularly at Germany and Japan. America knows well that those two can amount of serious military if they feel like it. They need to step up to the plate instead of us spending all the goddamn money. That's the basic answers I've got there. Better jobs kills the welfare state, and our allies picking up on the defense spend.
Okay, thank you. Robin Ficker. We have seen your signs saying jobs, 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 and that's clearly part of the solution for our economic problems. Now, our unemployment rate is approximately about 6%. Minimum wage has gone up a little here in Garrett County. Briefly explain your solution to better paying jobs, and also refer to a seasonal market that we have here with the tourism industry.
Thank you for that question, Tom Sheehan. I have to point out that I've known Tom Sheehan for many years. He really was one of the best runners in the state, and I ran many races with him. My kids used to run with us as well. And my daughter went on to become a professional triathlete, and she holds the run record in the toughest run of any triathlon, I believe, in the world, the Savage Man Triathlon at Deep Creek Lake. I've put jobs on my signs because Ficker has focus. When he goes to the Hill and invites all of you down on January 16th for some bean soup and a victory party, Ficker is going to have focus on the Hill. I believe we need to develop our natural gas, our clean natural gas in Western Maryland. It can be done without polluting the waters with adequate controls. There's dry fracking. I think we need to develop that. Instead, we have our liberals down in Tacoma Park voting against it. They've never been here. I'm the only farmer in this race. Do you like to eat? I know you do. Let's support our farmers. Let's make sure that they have support. There are many in beautiful Garrett County. Tourism. We need to promote the skiing and winter sports, ice fishing, ice skating. I'm for Garrett County. I've been coming to Deep Creek Lake when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, I learned to swim in Deep Creek Lake.
Thank you very much. I'm a little embarrassed by the claim that Tom Sheehan's a runner. Next question is for Terry Baker. How would you bring about small business formation or manufacturing jobs in Garrett County?
Well, one of the first things that I would do once I'm elected to Congress is I'm going to go out into each district and I'm going to find out the genuine, the sincere, the dedicated people to jobs for their community. And we're going to come up with a package and we're going to go back to Congress and you're going to have somebody from Garrett County on my team and you're going to follow all of the jobs and all of the opportunities that Congress provides to other communities throughout the United States. And you're going to help me bring some good government jobs up here to Garrett County. You're also going to make sure that when the jobs that you already offer within your community, you're going to make sure that your local people get those jobs first. I know down in Washington County, we have some jobs where they're contracted out and they bring in the illegals or they bring in the Mexicans or whoever they may be, and they take the jobs from our people in our community. But we need to really, really focus on what jobs are offered in our community, and we need to make sure that our community people get those jobs first. Also, what they do is when they contract these jobs out, they're under contract, so they're guaranteed a paycheck. So where your local people, if they're employed, and whoever they're working for, it's a bad weather day, they send your community people home and they don't get a day's pay for being off. But the people under contract, they're guaranteed a set amount of money for their employees. So all of that needs to be corrected. You need to have quality people in your community, and you need to take their advice seriously and move your county forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. David Vogt. Gas prices are the lowest that they have been in years. If the average family has more money from their gasoline savings, what do you think they're doing with their savings?
A lot of what we're seeing is folks are still behind from the recession and using that to try to catch back up. And then on the other side of things, we're still trying to make up for the overtaxing and spending on the government side of things, that we have hundreds of thousands of families that are getting backbroken, and every cent we can save at the gas pump is still getting drained by the state of Maryland or by the federal government. So we haven't seen enough of a recovery yet that those prices are helping us. We've got to go and address every different area. Destroy the tax code, make it simplified, help the middle class Americans, help the small business, and really make an effect to where that now that we are saving money on the gas prices, we can actually do something for the next generation in moving forward.
Thank you. Chris Mason, here's the question I was going to ask you.
Great.
Gambling has become legal in Maryland. The situation has been very profitable in Allegheny County at Rocky Gap Resort. According to the newspapers, the amount going into education is very positive. How do you feel about our casinos? Is this a good or a bad thing?
I personally don't like gambling. I don't like casinos. However, as a federal representative, I don't care what you do in your state. If you want to legalize gambling, legalize gambling. If you want to make it illegal, then make it illegal. Federal representative isn't concerned about that. My concern is to keep the government off your back so you can do whatever the heck you need to do. You know, with gas prices, the only reason gas prices went down is because Saudi Arabia tried to crush fracking. They tried to take away fracking in America, and that's the only reason they lowered gas prices, to make sure they put the frackers out of business. And now, all the government's gone into monopoly, and they try to raise gas prices because all the American gas fracking industry is hurting so bad. But anywho, it's always behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, do whatever you want. If you want to have gambling, then gamble. If you don't want gambling, then don't do it. I don't have any concern with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of our candidates. Okay, it is now 11:30. We're taking a 10-minute break, and we do mean 10. And then we'll resume with more questions. Thank you very much.